Hello, people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news for the 9th of August 2025. I hope you all enjoyed that, my most recent video all about the A10C2 tank killer. This time we were engaging targets with the GAU 8 Avenger 30mm cannon. Very, very effective, very, very nasty for those downrange. Welcome to the stream, Tea Kettle Barbecue. Welcome Tricker, Robbie Hobby, Angelo, Colin, Pink Floyd, Robbie Hobby again, Tech Gaming 45, Arthur Van Rijn, Whoopaz. Welcome everybody to the stream. Great to have you all aboard. And yes, we have a kind of slightly slower news week this week, but we, as always, do have an Eagle Dynamics newsletter. But before I jump on into that, let's bring aboard the one and only John Bloor. There he is.
Hello, sir. How you doing?
Greetings and salutations.
Yeah. Have you had a haircut? You look very nice, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Not as nice as Daddy Wags, but I'm trying.
Yes, that's true. It's true. You can't set yourself impossible goals, mate. That's the only problem. You can't
exactly.
Goals.
Too much Instagram, and you're just going to get depressed.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream, Mike Delta, Byron Farrow, Sim Taylor. Sim Taylor, first one he's managed to catch in months. That's MUMPHFS.
Yeah.
Shauna 81, the A10 videos make me want to pick it up again since we're losing the AV8. Oof, I know.
Yeah.
I have to say, in the VAF, I'm CO of 3 Squadron in the VAF, which is the Harrier Squadron. I just noticed that Wags replied to
my heart be still.
Well, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, he's like, I can't. It's just 2 hunks on screen rather than just 1. I can't deal with it.
It's too much. Actually, we've had conversations in 3 Squadron about what we should do if the Harrier no longer is an option. I've personally been advocating for the Jeff, as I often do, but we're still in the process of evaluating it, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But for now, we still play the Harrier. We still fly the Harrier because it's still perfectly functional.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this last week, didn't we? And we said that basically, look, it's probably, and I'm very conscious that Wags is here, so he's sitting there watching like a hawk right now, going, "What are you about to say?" But I'm very conscious of it's probably they know there's some stuff coming down the pipeline, and it's potentially stuff that can break things, and they're probably just saying, "Look, just cover ourselves for now, and just." We just don't know, but we're going to try and keep it going. Obviously, the other thing is, and again, we talked about this last week, is it's all a bit, what's the word for it? It's all still fluid. I think they said in that newsletter, wasn't it? It was something along the lines of like, we're still trying to figure this out or whatever. And they're pretty hands tied legally with being able to talk about it.
I can imagine those efforts are ongoing and and will continue no matter what. So we're just looking at kind of contingency, and of course I very much enjoy the Jeffrey, so we're trying it out, see if it can possibly fill the boots of the Harrier. Like, obviously I'm not going to be landing in fields or on boats with the Jeff, but I have tried out using the Jeff on road bases, and that's actually quite doable with the shoot. It's quite doable. People mentioning that we're both Star Wars fans. What could possibly give you that idea?
Yeah, I know. What could possibly give that idea? Yeah, no, I always say to people, I have to be really specific because I love Star Wars, but I love a very specific era of Star Wars, and that was like pre-prequels.
Battlestar Galactica. Like, someone just mentioned Battlestar Galactica. I'm a big fan of the reboot. The one from the early 2000s.
And then someone saying Star Trek. So someone's saying Star Trek here. I'm a big TNG fan. I absolutely adore Next Gen. The rest, Deep Space Nine was like okay. Voyager was a bit shaky,
Hmm.
and then stuff since is meh. But and I also love the Shatner. Any of the films of Shatner and Nimoy in the films they bring out in the 80s, they were rad as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's Star Wars is what I don't like. I always get into this rant with people. What I don't
We've
like is
started
back
them.
in the day. I know we started it, right? We were there for DCS and talking about Star Wars. I always remember they were just sort of like films. It was a bit like how you saw things like Back to the Future or Indiana Jones. It was like they're just cool films. Now it's like a universe. It's like it's almost like its own like lifestyle. I'm like, I just want to watch some good films. So yeah, that's the era I grew up with. But I also, reason why I think I was captured by it back then was, do you remember when they did the re-releases in the 90s?
Yeah.
It was like mid to late 90s. They did special editions. And I saw Return of the Jedi when I was about 8, and it blew my little mind. Just literally like, yeah, absolutely popped my little brain. So yeah, that's why I have that stuff. But
I remember the era of Star Trek films where Shatner is wearing progressively tighter corsets.
Yeah, to fit in. yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, big shout out for Rogue One. That is, in my opinion, the best Star Wars film.
And to be fair, bits of Mandalorian are really good.
Oh,
like,
Mandalorian's
it's
great. I'm talking about the films.
Yeah.
It's the best film.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to the reason why we're here in the first place.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about DCS. Because it is the DCS news after all. So we have the latest newsletter from Eagle Dynamics. It's with great pleasure that we share a more complete list of the modules coming to the Pacific Theater of Operations Assets Pack, in parallel with other modules like the F4U1D, Corsair, and the free Marianas World War II map, and the upcoming F6F-3 Hellcat. The PTO Assets Pack is designed to provide a rich and detailed array of United States and Imperial Japanese air, ground, and naval units in the summer of 1944 PTO. Many of these units are finished and others are still in progress. We look forward to your feedback. And we got a little tidbit from, was it Nine Line who let it slip that we are getting a 0?
Yeah, there was somewhere on the forums. We don't. Do you have it up? But yeah, basically Nine Line said in the forums that we're going to be getting a full fidelity A60. So that is it's in the plans at least.
Yeah.
It's not an official. I don't consider it official until it's like it has its own little forum. Does that make sense? Little post on their thing. Like once you get that, that's when I think because look, all the best laid plans. It's not that they're trying to tease you or anything like that, but all the best laid plans for these things can go wrong, as we all know, and they can be like have all the intentions, and then someone gets ill, or who knows, whatever key elements and all that sort of stuff. Oh, is it in the newsletter? Is it?
It is in the newsletter. Oh, and there you go. Actually, it's right here.
Is it right there? Does it say they're going to add it?
It's almost like Wags wrote this because he seems to know what's in it.
Yeah, it's almost like that. I love how he sat there. I just picture him every time. He's just like, do you know the Picard face palm? He's just sat there like, oh, for God, just read. It's right there. I just want to hear about Star Wars. Talk about DCS.
Yes, exactly. There's a reason why we're here.
But yes, yeah.
Actually, Sim Taylor, surprised there was no Iowa class bandwagon. I'm actually, I'm not a big naval guy, but Iowa class, pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. I like to see a bit of that.
Yeah, is that there? Is it not already in the game, or am I thinking of like a mod pack or something? The Iowa.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah,
reading is hard.
It is. Yeah,
it
is.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Give us a few years.
Absolutely.
So.
Maybe also if it's not in this initial list, it could be one of these things where it's like, oh, it's being added, or blah 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 blah, or it'll be free. Another thing is this might be specifically for the PTO asset pack, whereas there might be stuff that they include just in base game or whatever. So Yeah,
there is a mod of it, says Tech Gaming 45. Byron Farrow, I know that neither of you are World War II heads, but this pack looks good. My gripe with DCS has always been having a unified map and assets to go with the modules. Well, we have a number of these at this stage, because we have, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we have a generic World War II pack, we have the China assets pack, and now we're going to have the PTO pack. So, I think ED are delivering on that side of things. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is the thing. I think where they've got a niche here, if they lean into this, I think this is where they have like a potential opening in the market, and I'm sure they know this. They're well aware of this. But you've got IL-2, which does all the Eastern Front, and obviously we know they do. There's a really cool World War One stuff for that as well. I don't know if you've seen the World War One IL-2. Is it IL-2 stuff, which is cool, and obviously got Normandy and all that. But nobody's really done Pacific. At least not recently. So at least for flight sims, there's some great strategy games and stuff that have come out, like Task Force Admiral and other bits and pieces. But this is the first one we've got, and I think there's a lot of potential here because it is a very different type of war, so to speak, than it was on the European front at least. And I think it offers some really interesting new stuff, and especially when they can already leverage a lot of the tech that they've got for things like, I'd love to see, like Super Carro, we've got the deck crew. It'd be cool to see World War II deck crew, because obviously they're going to have, it might be even simpler than what we've got, but they've got all this abilities leverage.
I now just have images in my head of deck crew like chain smoking while directing you.
Yeah, big old tashes. Hey, what are you saying, buddy?
Cigar. Like you have different versions of the deck crew with like different things that they're smoking. So one guy with a cigar, one with a cigarette, one with a pipe.
Yeah, and then back then as well, there's no like how. Yeah, there's no health and safety, and they've not got like overalls. They've just got like a pair of breeches on, haven't they? Whatever they want to call it, and like pulled up tall trousers, and they're like, yeah, buddy, yeah, whatever. It's too hot to wear that. I'm like, oh, if I burn, I burn. They kind of, and they need to talk. I want to hear if there's a guy on the radio. He needs to talk like that. Yeah,
well,
yeah, Roger that.
Why do I need any kind of flame retardants? I'm surrounded by water. I can just jump in if I need to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Madness.
But no, it's cool. I think they as much as you got the planes, you obviously you need the assets as well. You need that world to live in. So, and the beauty is, I mean, they could do, ironically, hilariously, they could just do a new map which is just ocean. It's just nothing. It's just ocean. They could release that for free really easily.
The Pacific map.
Yeah,
single polygon.
Yeah, it's just one polygon. It's some really cool stuff you can do with it. So yeah, I'm really curious to see that. I'd love to see stuff like, like the Dauntless eventually and the Avengers, stuff like that. Would be really cool to get that.
We should hit the list because Wags has told us that we should read. But before we hit that list, let me just say one thing that's going to stun chat. You heard it here first. I always say that I don't care about World War II stuff. If when the Zero comes out as playable, I will absolutely buy that, and I will absolutely fly that, because I don't know why. I don't really care about most World War II aircraft, but the Zero, I'm kind of like, this thing's cool. I like the Zero. Yeah. So I would fly that.
It is made of like literally of what do you call it? Toothpicks. Yeah, literally. And I think if I remember rightly, it didn't have an isolated fuel tank, so if it got hit, it just went up in flames. So yeah.
It was a cool plane.
It's a fun plane.
But yes. Anyway, let's go over what we're getting here. Since the release of the free Marianas World War II map and the Magnitude 3 F4U-1D Corsair, we want to provide an update on the extensive effort being devoted to bringing this scenario to life with the PTO Assets Pack. Learning from some of the European theatre of war scenarios, the PTO scenario is focused on providing an extensive order of battle for both US and Imperial Japanese forces in the summer of 1944, and to offer an accurate representation of the battle for the Mariana Islands and the Battle of the Philippine Sea. New player aircraft coming for this scenario will include the F6F-3 Hellcat and the A6M5-0. Since our last update on this project, we can now share with you the specific air, land, and sea units being developed for the PTO Assets Pack, which owners of the existing World War II Assets Pack will be able to purchase with a 30% discount. AI assets we're getting for the United States, aircraft-wise, F6F Hellcat, SB-2C Helldiver, TBF Avenger, SBD-5 Dauntless, PBY Catalina. Actually, I'm kind of psyched to see the Catalina. P-38L Lightning. And then when it comes to ships for the United States, we're getting the Enterprise. Casablanca class light aircraft carrier, Independence class light aircraft carrier, New Orleans class heavy cruiser, Baltimore class heavy cruiser, Cleveland class light cruiser, Fletcher class destroyer, Liberty class transport, Cimarron class oiler. I wanted to say cinnamon for some reason. And then United States Ground Forces, we're getting the M4A2 Sherman, M3A1 Stuart, LVT-4 tracked landing vehicle, LVT brackets A-4 tracked landing vehicle, DUKW-353 amphibious truck, U.S. Marine Corps infantrymen, U.S. Navy carrier personnel, and U.S. Navy seamen. Yes, I said seamen. Imperial Japanese aircraft. I got him.
Oh, fuck's sake.
We're getting the A6M50, the D4Y Judy, the D3A Val, the B6N Jill, and for Japanese ships, we're getting the, this is where it's going to get interesting. You know I struggle. The Shokaku aircraft carrier, the Shitose light aircraft carrier, the Congo battleship, the Mogami heavy cruiser, the Agano class light cruiser, the Yugumo class destroyer, the Kagero class destroyer, and the Kashino class transport. I think I did all right there.
Yeah, you
just
did
going
all
to
right.
quickly check chat as we go. Paper mache, bit more flammable, says Byron. It can only turn and burn, says Lucky 13. Oh dear. Oh, JD here from Shanghai. Welcome. Flyable PBY would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, very cool. Yeah, Mike Delta. Yes, I'm still an 8-year-old. I am still an 8-year-old.
What's interesting is I can speak from this because I've played a lot of World of Warships. So in that process, you learn stuff. I've also watched God knows how many old History Channel stuff. So what they've got here as well for especially the US and the Japanese ships, they've got a nice collection of probably all of the most produced ships. So like looking here, like you've got the Independence class carriers, there's a lot of those, the New Orleans, Baltimore, and Cleveland's, the Fletchers, there was God knows how many of those. I mean, you got things like the Benson and stuff like that, but they're all kind of very similar. And then obviously the Liberty class transport, I think that's if I remember rightly, that's one of the most produced type of ship, I think, if I remember rightly, Liberty class transports. And then same for the Japanese stuff as well. So they've got a really good collection of everything they obviously need. It'd be cool to get, I mean, just because nerdy stuff, obviously Iowa and a what's the other one? Oh god, Yamato would be really cool as well, the Musashi. But yeah, it looks like they've got a really good collection of stuff for Pacific Theatre. So yeah, this is a really good asset pack. And then you've got these last bits here as well.
And then we've got the ground forces for the Japanese. So we're getting the Type 94 Tankette, the Type 95 Hago, the Kurogane Type 95 car, Type 97 TK tank, Type 97 Chiha tank, Type 97 Shin Hoto tank, Type 2 KM amphibious tank, Type 1 47mm anti-tank gun, Type 98 20mm anti-aircraft gun, Type 91 10cm towed artillery, Type 92 70mm towed artillery, Type 10 120mm anti-aircraft gun. That's going to hurt. Imperial Japanese Army infantrymen and Japanese Navy seamen. Anyway.
I knew you would not be able to say that without a little twinkle in your eye, you silly sausage you.
That's
so,
me.
Yeah.
So that's the Pacific Theatre of Operations asset pack. This sounds pretty cool. I'm rather psyched for this. We don't have a lot to... Oh, wait, we do have pictures. Ooh, we're going to have a look at these. I didn't notice there were pictures at first. Yeah. Really nice assets. Really cool looking ships. Nani?
Nani? Yeah.
Oh, wow, yes. This is looking very nice.
Hellcats as well. That is cool.
Yes. Oh, and now we're back in Sinai. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really nice to see these. I do like some good naval assets. It can really... Your kind of seascapes can seem very, very bland without a nice selection of ships. I was quite happy when we got... It was just a handful, but a few ships with the South Atlantic map for the Falklands kind of campaign.
I'd love to see some more stuff like that, especially for modern as well. Like, this is really cool. I don't want to seem like... I always feel bad because whenever they bring
You've
something
given us
out,
something, but it's not what I wanted.
yeah. I always feel like the ED guys or whoever, whether it's Heatblur, whoever, they'll bring something out and immediately someone will go, yeah, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It must be like, oh my
That's
God,
cool. But what about this one niche thing that only I want?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What about this random Czechoslovakian aircraft that only flew for 3 years in the 60s? And it's just like, all right, okay.
No, that's a banana,
no.
not a Czechoslovakian traffic warden.
Yeah. But exactly. Yeah. Is that Red Dwarf?
That's Red Dwarf,
isn't it? Yeah. I thought it was Red Dwarf.
They were teaching Crichton to lie.
Yeah. It's great. If you remember that one as well.
Yep.
But I'd love to see some. Obviously, we got the Masun stuff, and we've got the Current Hill.
Current Hill. Oh, integrating those. Not all of Current Hill stuff is in yet, but integrating that stuff is just amazing. Like, that's really, really amplifying the range of stuff that we can put into missions and the improvements that there have been over the last year or two in the mission editor as well. It's creating content. We've been banging on, and so have many people for a long time. DCS is so barren. I think ED have heard us because we are getting the things we need to make it a little less barren. And then of course, dynamic campaign.
Well, I think they, like with dynamic campaign, you're going to want to have all these different elements. You're going to want artillery pieces. You're going to want, MRLS. I know some of these things are already in the game, but you're going to want all these different elements so that when you start to implement them, because they have different mission sets and they're going to be operating in different ways on the battlefield, you're going to want to have these all in place. It's a bit like it's like designing a game of chess. We know what chess is, but you don't have all the pieces yet. You want all the pieces before you start playing the game of chess. So that, I think that's what's sort of happening with this, because I assume I wouldn't imagine it wouldn't be the case that a dynamic campaign would also potentially apply to World War II stuff. I mean, why wouldn't it? So it'd be really cool if there's like a Pacific theater, and every time if you take, if you're part of a flight and you dive bomb on a cruiser and you knock it out of the theater, then that might mean that the next mission, that's if you then go to attack the carrier, that's one less ship, that's providing AA or whatever, or screening, all that sort of stuff. So all of this stuff, I think, all ties in together. When you see stuff like Sea Power that has these amazing, it's a very different game, but you see how that operates. Just to start seeing some of those sort of assets in DCS, whether it be, I'd love, like you, same thing. I'd love to see some modern, even Cold War era, naval assets and all sorts of bits and pieces. Obviously, let's get there when we get there. But yeah, all this stuff is.
And you can of course mod a lot of this stuff in. Like there is, I forget who it is, but there's a Admiral something guy called with that username who has a bunch of good stuff, and I think he even has like Type 43 frigates and some of the British modern-ish stuff, which is nice to play with.
Yeah, and who knows? Who knows? That could be another. Just like we've had Current Hill, just we've had Masin. Maybe Admiral 4-5, whatever his name is, might end up being approached by ED. Who knows? I think that stuff of using those, it makes sense that they'd approach someone like that. Obviously, there's stuff behind the scenes. There's probably reimbursement and various different legal stuff that has to happen. But why wouldn't you approach someone who's already made it and put it in the game? I know they've got to modify it and they've got to make it work in a different way, but why wouldn't you? If someone's already done it, that's a lot of the work done for you. So I think that's really cool. And then I know I bang on about this all the time, but we talk about the modding stuff, but make things easier for modders to install, servers to install it, people to install it, people to join servers with it on, and also people to make them. And a lot of these things, I love the fact they've got official assets, and that means there's a product they can also sell as well, and that helps with the finances. But it helps stave off people constantly poking them, going, why haven't we got that? At least for a bit, that gives them breathing space to go, well, unofficially go here. Here's some cool stuff. We think this is really cool, which we're working on it. But yeah, there's some cool mod stuff in the community. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, jumping on to the next section of the news, we have a development progress update on Mission Save State. Or State Save. I said it the other way around. Yeah. Following the initial release of the Mission Save... No, I'm doing it again? No, I'm not doing... Oh, you're confusing me. It says here Mission Save State. It says here Mission State Save. I'm a simple man. Stuff like that breaks me.
Mm.
Anyway,
I would say save state makes sense because I've heard save state used before for like emulators. So I bet you it's save state.
I think
Find out.
technically both are correct. Anyway, following the initial release of the mission save state feature, we have gathered your feedback for further improvements. Based on this, we delivered an API feature request to our talented scripting community, which was well received. Moving forward, a common request has been saving destroyed unit states on the battlefield. Yes. We have now tackled this issue, and destroyed static objects will be created in place of each destroyed ground vehicle, aircraft, infantry unit, or static building, not terrain map buildings, in the mission save state. In this sense, the battlefield wreckage remains where the destruction took place. With the mission editor, these objects will be automatically given a hidden parameter to not clutter the map view. However, if you want to remove them from the mission because of your plot choice, you can find them in the mission editor units list and delete them. We will be releasing this improvement in an upcoming update once testing is fully complete. Based on your feedback, our next task for mission save state improvements will be to save a group's waypoint parameters. This work is ongoing and includes the ability to save specific ground vehicles parameters such as ROE and more.
That's really cool. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like this. Again, I can imagine this is all tech that is going into things like dynamic campaign, because you need to, every time you fire up a mission and you go to the next bit of a mission, again, this is technology, even if it's not directly dynamic campaign, it's indirectly going to be used for it. So this is where, when we talk about reading the tea leaves, we always say we are, at the end of the day, only reading tea leaves. We're making educated guesses and stuff. But I try to look at it, it's all in the bigger picture. Like, why would you get this stuff done? Because when you need it for this, and it's all about getting the horse before the cart. So again, this is a great piece of tech, which will hopefully play into that as well. And it's just really cool, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I love the fact that I always say the more choices, the more options, the more tools you give people to make stuff, then generally speaking, the more creative they will be. And I think that stuff like this is really, really cool, because we've had you've probably had this in you do VAF stuff, don't you? And I bet you guys have your own campaigns.
We do, and
you probably have to kind of either go back for a track file or do something to go, okay, well, what did we actually blow up? And then if you do the next mission, have to kind of repopulate it or delete stuff out, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not always necessarily directly involved with that, but we often kind of reconstruct it from the after action reports, and then sometimes we intentionally make that inaccurate. So sometimes someone will say, oh yeah, I destroyed blah, blah, blah SAM site, and in the next mission we'll put it right back there. Just to mess with people to a degree, because you might think you destroyed it, but you didn't actually do that much damage, or the enemy is able to replace some component of the site and get it back up quickly. So it's fun sometimes for it not to be quite perfectly persistent.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you get a little bit of fun out of gaslighting.
Yes. Someone's flying along, and some of our missions use those IADS scripts. So the sites are not necessarily just broadcasting the whole time. They'll sometimes shut down and come on at certain times and so on. So you can be very, very rudely surprised by these things.
That's cool. I like stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. Sim Taylor, I agree. To me, there are a lot of new features that play into the dynamic campaign, mission creator, save state. Do the math.
Yeah.
Yes. It looks pretty good.
That would be another thing that's cool. Just to mention about DTC, I just thought of something there. Do you know how you've got
Wait, I need a moment. You said the magic word.
You said the magic word, DTC. Yeah.
I like DTC.
So we talked about this, about how you build the countermeasures and whatever you want to call it, table based upon what you know. I mean, what would be really interesting?
Your RWR library, your threat library.
Yeah. So imagine you go. I mean, you're probably going to be able to make educated guesses, but imagine you go into a campaign, and early in the campaign, you don't quite know what the enemy's using. Intel is not clear. Okay, it's probably going to be Russian stuff, but what have they got? How many have they got? And so what would be kind of cool if you want something persistent is that you can start to build that library up, and you start to get intel, and as you go on, you go, oh yeah, like, okay, we now know that they've got SA8s. We didn't know they had that. And then you start building up that library. That would be cool. Especially that would be cool if you're playing kind of historical missions, if you're doing Cold War stuff. Nowadays they probably can just plug something in and they know everything that's in,
Well,
everything that's
the
in there.
thing
But
is, I was reading some speculation. Let's call it
mm,
that, because I don't think any of this is confirmed or very firm,
mm,
about the India-Pakistan air war that there was back in May,
mm,
and someone speculating that India didn't know that Pakistan had PL-15E missiles,
mm,
and so quite possibly part of the reason why their Rafales were jumped in the way they were was because it either wasn't in the threat database or it hadn't been set the correct priority.
that makes
So
complete sense.
yeah, so
Yeah.
there's some speculation that the Rafales were, effectively unable to respond effectively to that threat.
You've also got, and this is probably a little bit more tricky for ED to do, because you start getting into, whenever you start getting into things like EW,
Mhm.
anything like that, it starts getting very what's the word, touch and go.
Uh-huh.
But I always say you can simulate the effects and not necessarily simulate the what is actually doing it. You can always just say
Actually,
with the effect of it
on
in
that
there.
on that point, I sometimes
Yeah.
wonder how Command Modern Operations kind of works, because they have a very detailed threat database in there,
Yeah.
and even extremely modern stuff seems to the layman work
Mm.
as you would expect it to work. So yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, an
Yeah.
aside, I wonder what
Yeah.
CMO is doing on this front.
Yeah, and my argument is like I would wonder if like certain modern technology is there a certain amount of spoofing as well, so you can spoof something to think that they're getting locked up by something else than they are, or not getting locked up, and then because obviously the technology, the emitters aren't just necessarily static, are they? They're upgrading hardware and software and doing all sorts of
Yes.
things like that, and then the next thing you kind of have with that as well is as much as like things like spoofing, you've got the whole situation of um, you know is there jammers that do stuff that makes it difficult for you to figure out what's being and get you what you're getting engaged by as well. So that would be kind of, again, a cool mechanic. How can you, the tricky thing I guess ED always has is because they are close to that line, um and they're closer to that line than say like War Thunder or other stuff, because they are kind of much more still a game, but they're much
Does
more
War
close to that.
Thunder even simulate jammers? I have a funny feeling it
I
doesn't.
don't think they do.
Yeah.
No, they've only got like flares and stuff,
The thing
and
is,
things like that.
when it comes to self protection equipment, we have parts, many parts of it simulated in DCS world already.
Mm, yeah,
To what degree I don't know, but you have self protection kind of noise based jammers,
yeah.
and then we do have various types of decoy which are in game. You've got things like the
Mm.
tiles. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, tileds or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
for both the Hornet and the Tomcat.
Mm,
So yeah, it's we're getting stuff like that. It's the kind of like the offensive jammers we don't have in game. We don't have things like the Growler,
yeah,
and Prowler.
yeah. And the
But
Raven, that beautiful aircraft as well. That was a great,
yes,
great jet. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, we don't have everything, but we have certain elements of the electronic warfare battle represented, which is nice.
yeah. And you got things like Toad decoys as well that are coming
Yes,
for. I think the 18,
F-16.
18 and the 16 are getting their own versions of Toad decoys as well. So
Yeah.
that's something. I think this is cool. All this stuff would be cool. I don't know how they probably would have to really sit down and figure out how they're going to approach this, because I think once you do start going into the world of EW, what you probably have to start doing is it's still a simulator, but you're simulating the effects rather
Mm.
than simulating the actually what is a jammer doing, because it gets weird, as we've talked about. It gets really weird.
Many of the modules already very effectively simulate what the jammers are doing. Like
Mm,
Tomcat being a great example. Like you can
mm,
see the jamming on the scope. The
yeah.
Mirage, the 2000C represents it really really nicely.
Mm,
Um, yeah, a bunch of the aircraft. Obviously, the more modern ones, you don't see the jamming, but you see the effects where the actual
yeah.
interpreted position is getting a bit jumpy.
Mm, yeah.
So yeah, Tech Gaming 45 saying probably not. ECCM, yes, of course. So many modern systems are able to overcome jamming
Mm,
in various ways. But yeah,
yeah.
it's all very very cool.
Yeah. No.
Moving on, we have the last
Mm,
thing in the newsletter, and it's that there are new free trial modules. Explore I'm speaking in a strange way today. Explore new aircraft and terrains for free. To help you explore new content, we are expanding our free trials program. You can now try the additional following modules free of charge for 14 days every 6 months. New modules on trial now are the South Atlantic map, Cola map, Sinai map, the CH-47F, the F-5E remaster, the NS-430, the F-5E for Flaming Cliffs, the MiG-15 BIS for Flaming Cliffs, the F-86F for Flaming Cliffs, and the entirety of Flaming Cliffs 2024. Simply navigate to the Try and Buy page on the launcher and look out for the Try button. You can also activate free 14-day licenses from free trials on the DCS website. Once you've made your selection, proceed to install the chosen module through our module manager. For more details, read the How to Install Modules guide. We hope you enjoyed this opportunity to explore new modules and terrains completely free.
You went into BBC talk then.
I did. I kind of did that
the
on
one
purpose.
thing we didn't want to happen. So let's comment on this. I think this is always good.
Yes.
I'm noticing more maps. Have they always had maps in the free trials? And if not, is this the first? And if it isn't the first, it's still always good to have maps.
Yeah.
This is the problem to solve. How do you get people on maps, and how do you get them to do stuff, especially for multiplayer? The other tricky thing is the map conundrum is a really tricky one, because it's not really. It's really easy to go, just do this. Well, did we know that'll work?
This approach that ED have been taking of breaking up the larger maps into smaller parts is an interesting one. That's one way of approaching it.
Some people got really upset by it, and I didn't get it, if I'm honest with you.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, the Afghanistan thing. I didn't get it. I could see what they were trying to do. Whether it was just because half of marketing and half of this stuff is like timing. It's like really specific wording. It's explaining it well. I mean, it sounds like Wags. He's pointed out stuff in the newsletter we aren't reading properly, and at the end of the day, people always read things wrong.
Yes.
But it sounds like a lot of it's in the messaging, and I think that was what kind of backfired a bit with the Afghanistan thing. Because my argument is, do you know the South Atlantic? That's definitely a map that I think should be split in two. As in, like, not split in two. They should offer the big map, and then I think they should offer just Falklands, because the problem is. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's enormous, because there's a load of like South America and is it Argentina and bits of it. And like,
it's I'm not going to do the joke. It's bordering on Chile during the winter. Anyway, yes,
bloody hell. Yeah. He's full of them today, guys. But yeah, like that was definitely a map. I was like, yeah, that would make a bit more sense. That you still like that they have, where it's just lower res if you're flying over those bits, if you don't have it all.
I recently, again with VAP, started doing a bunch of flying on the South Atlantic map, mostly in Argentina, and it's really fun. It's a really nice map.
It's a really good map, and the struggle they have is that how, like, Cola is amazing, but it's absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Like I was doing some stuff with Venom the other day, and he was like, "Do you want to do Iraq stuff?" And I had to literally just delete Cola because there's no space on the drive that I've got everything on. Literally, I had run out of space on there, which is wild because it's like a 700 gigabyte drive, and only DCS is on there. But yeah, I think there's a couple issues with the map stuff. I think it's the size of them. There's not a lot you can do with that unless there's some clever tech for compressing it or streaming it or something. If you can't deal with that, then what you have to do is like I've talked to you about. I know there's every time we say this, someone in the comments goes, "There's a system that you can use to split things across drives." I know there is, but majority of people don't want to be messing around with stuff like that. If it's built into the launcher or built into DCS itself, where you can choose where to put things, that would just massively help. So that's the first issue with that, storage. The second issue you've got is it splits the player base. So the problem is that you could have, how many times have people had it before where they've got, I've got Syria and I've got Sinai and I've got Kola and I've got South Atlantic. And generally speaking, the reason why I think like Caucasus, Persian Gulf, and especially Syria. I think Caucasus
everybody
Imperial.
has Syria these days.
Everyone's got Syria.
It's just the default.
Yeah, it is. It's almost the default. It's more of the default almost in Caucasus now. And the reason is because that's what everyone's got. So then all the servers are just running Syria. And actually a lot of people, like the gripe I hear from people is like if you fly on like, again, Kola, South Atlantic, Cold War Germany, they're absolutely exceptional maps.
Yes.
But people aren't flying on them because they have to buy them, and then you've also got the issues like campaigns, because you need a map for a campaign. So you might be like, oh, I really want to get this campaign, but then that means I've got to get Nevada, or I've got to get this. So that's the other issue you've got. And I think these trials, because what you could at least do with the trial is, if like you don't have Cola and we're going to fly submissions on it, I can go, well, just do the trial, because and then you can try it out and see how you get on with it or something.
And then
it gets you going. Yeah. And then I think, and then you getting back to the server owners for multiplayer, again, they're only going to usually pretty much use Syria, because that's what everyone has. Because why would you create a multiplayer server that no one's going to fly on? It's this chicken and egg thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think a really cool system would to be every month. I like the trial, the 14-day stuff. I would say have a rotating every month. You've got a focus on a theater, a map. So say January is like, I don't know, Syria, and during January you offer it for a little bit for cheaper. You've also got
okay.
So this is how this looks. So January you got Syria. During that period of time, you've got a bit of money off Syria. You in your newsletter, you talk about, say, the
all the associated campaigns, maybe even point out community missions that are applicable. Yeah,
you could have that. You could have the aircraft that fly that are well known for it. So like the Mirage F1, because it was involved in. You could talk about the Lebanon War, and you could even have bits in the newsletter to talk about historical events that happened in those areas. You go, in Syria in 1965 there was this battle, blah 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 blah. This campaign that we offers you the chance to fly as a pilot in that era, blah blah blah. So you do all about Syria, and then like February is, I know, South Atlantic, and then during that period of time, especially if you're given an advance, so even say like halfway through January, you say, by the way, guys, next month it's going to be South Atlantic. What's then going to happen is you're going to get people, all the servers that are going to install it, because they're like, cool, we've always wanted to run the South Atlantic map, but no one ever no one owns it, no one ever flies on it, so they can do, whether it's contention or whether it's your grey flags or whoever it is, 4-hour servers, they can load in. Yeah, you can use Olympus. They can create their missions. They can load in to their server for February South Atlantic map, and so everyone jumps on South Atlantic map. And then you talk about the Falklands War, what was happening, and you maybe do a bit on the Harrier, and then you could do stuff like that. Yeah, that's the Venus, and then you do, and then again talk about like Mirage. If we get the Kathir, you could argue they weren't quite using the Kathir, but you could talk about the Dagger or whatever they were using, the Argentinians. And again, and then March is Persian Gulf, and then you can talk about that. Iraq, obviously, you've got two major things that happen there. But this is my point: you can do some really cool stuff, and then you trial map during that month, and then everyone's on board. Everyone knows what the maps are. Everyone knows what's kind of going on.
I think you're onto a winner here. This is actually kind of fun, because what you're doing is you're creating a community experience, because that is how you combat fragmentation, is that you have everybody looking the same way at the same time, which I think is kind of fun. Tricker says we need to start over because he's late to the show. He missed the start.
Damn.
So
right.
Yeah, this is where what's that film? What's that film where
Groundhog
the butler?
Day?
Huh?
Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day. No, I'm not thinking about that one. I'm thinking of the film where the butler halfway through the film does a complete recap of everything that's happened up until that point and plays every single character.
I don't know.
During the recap.
Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Someone will know in chat.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, someone in chat, just based on that very, very vague description, will tell me exactly what we're talking about. Tricker asking, what map do we suggest for the Christian Eagle 2?
Marianas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sim Taylor, perhaps updating older maps to modern standards. I know that ED have talked about that as a possibility in the past, but it's very, very resource intensive to do so. Clue.
I think they want to.
Thank you. Sim Taylor's right. It was Clue.
Cluedo, there you go.
Yeah. And the guy who plays the The Butler is a very famous British actor. He was Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. So there's a
Tim
part
Curry.
halfway through Clue where Tim Curry replays the entire movie himself, and it's the kind of thing that only Tim Curry could do.
I love that, man. Did you ever see, if you guys ever want to really laugh your ass off, watch the Tim Curry Red Alert 3 compilation.
Oh.
And it's all of him playing like a Soviet commander, and it's glorious.
I'm going to go to the one place that capitalism hasn't reached yet. Space.
It's his like excitement. Space. It's so awesome. I love it. I swear he has the same energy as Rick Mayall. Him and Rick Mayall had this amazing like energy.
He also great. He looks like he's just like milliseconds away from breaking at the end of each take, which I love. I think that's a great energy to have.
Yeah, he's awesome, absolutely awesome. So yeah, no, I think like you said, you've rephrased what I'm saying in a much more concise manner. It gets everyone's eyes in the same place at the same time.
Like,
and so you can treat them.
It's kind of the downfall of modern television, to go on a complete tangent here. Back when I was at school, you turn up at school the next morning after having watched TV the evening before, and you'd say, "Oh, mate, did you see blah 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 on Channel 2?" And of course they had, because we only had like 3 channels. So like everyone could talk about the same thing. Everyone could share the same experience. And in the present day, with streaming services, satellite television, cable television, and so on, you turn up at work the next day and say, "Hey, did you see blah?" And the response will always be, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And we kind of have the same situation with maps in DCS. "Oh, have you seen, this particular area of the Kola map in the far north of Norway?" And the response will be no. Whereas if we get everyone looking the same way at the same time, experiencing it all together, those connections and conversations really, really drive engagement with the user base.
Exactly, and you can treat them as if it's like an ongoing community event. Like you said, it just keeps going. Scotland didn't get colour as he
that's what I was laughing about. Thank you, Byron. Yeah. You're assuming we had electricity.
Yeah, running water. But the other thing as well is, it's funny you were saying that. There's this really interesting. I remember years ago I had to do this as part of you do your dissertation in uni. So I was doing stuff about what's called grand narratives, and there was a whole conversation about what's called the collapse of grand narratives, and that's literally with what you're talking about. As society becomes fractured, as more choices get produced, the less that we are all kind of having the same kind of what's the word? You feel like you're all part of different little tribes. You have your little platoons that go into your different areas. The shared narrative. Yeah. So one of the ways that and what you've seen in history, we're getting deep now, but what you see in history is it's a pendulum swing of that. So what happens is that you get dissemination, and then everyone comes back again, and then dissemination, and everyone comes back again. You see it multiple times. So what could be this also potentially the map stuff, if this is a way to approach the way to do DCS, this is a really cool way of potentially starting to bring the community back together again. Because let's be honest, with all the Razbam stuff, I literally thought about this the other day. I was like, before everything went wrong with Razbam, before it went kaput, it was pretty positive. Everything was pretty okay.
Are you sure?
Before the Strike Eagle went, there was issues. People were complaining about stuff. I mean, it's DCS. People complain, but it didn't, to me at least, seem like particularly negative. Mm-hmm. I think the most things people were complaining is like things breaking in patches. Again, that's always happened.
Or just repeatedly shouting dynamic campaign at the top of their lungs.
Yeah. Was it multi-threading and stuff? There's always something screaming. But yeah. I think the Razbam thing there's almost like a pre-Razbam and post-Razbam like event, and you see this big like divide that happened at that point, and it fractured things. It made people quite cynical. As you said before, there's people saying that they're not even going to touch a third-party module because they're just worried, because it's not that they don't think they're good, they're just like, I don't know if this is going to go away. And then there's a little bit of it's a bit of side eye, and a bit, everyone's a bit, not bitter, but a bit not really sure what to make of it. And if you want to talk about actions and not words, well, actions is actually doing things to kind of bring stuff together. And like I've said, I feel like I'm banging the same old drum. Start rewarding the modding community, start involving them and stuff, start really championing them and celebrating them.
And we've seen a bit of that already.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're starting to see this stuff. The free trials is a great start. I think having a really structure your game around a narrative. I mean, one game that's absolutely doing gangbusters at the moment, which is dominating, and it uses this whole thing, this narrative and stuff like this, is Helldivers 2.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
Helldivers 2, and there's like what they call it, the what's the word for it? War bonds, whatever they call it. There'll be like a new thing that will happen, and so you're going along with this journey. And I think that would be a really cool thing, is to not only tie your marketing into that, but tie your sales into that, tie your wider planning into that.
It's something the entire games industry has been trying to do, this kind of concept of live services, where it's a kind of living thing, the content is changing all the time, and there are events and so on. So it is a very good way of creating engagement, what Helldivers 2 has managed to do.
Yeah. It's just a bit of spotlighting on stuff. So yeah, and just to respond, Byron, it's not roasted. I'm not saying there wasn't problems, but there is that. I'm not saying like, oh, it's all great before that, the Razbam stuff. But I'm just saying it definitely got very like embittered afterwards. I saw some people just like straight up walk away and just be like, nah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And people arguing and stuff. If you ever want to feel like you're going insane and Groundhog Day, there's a forum post in the DCS forums, and it's called like Razbam current situation. And occasionally I pop in there just to see what mentalists look like, because it's just people arguing over nothing. It literally is. And
welcome to the internet, where people will argue about anything.
It's insane.
With no background knowledge and no idea what they're talking about. Welcome to the DCS news stream.
Yeah. We just do it, but we do it differently, damn it.
Yeah. We do it semi-professionally.
We make Willy jokes whilst we also do it.
Yeah, which elevates it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
So
anyway, moving on. What was that I was going to say next? Oh yeah, I haven't done my usual call to action, so I'm just remembering now to say, please subscribe, like, and comment. It's a really big help to me and to the channel. If you enjoy this kind of content, if you enjoy the tutorials, then please go ahead and click those buttons. It doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, DCS needs to learn from the good side. More cats. Yeah, we need to lean back into some positivity, and that's not being naive. It's just about being pragmatic with stuff.
Yes.
So
indeed.
yeah, it's a bit more of that would be good. And yeah, like someone said there, Tim Taylor, a channel, a contest for mods. Yep, absolutely. Contest to build the island. Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, stuff also be cool is I know they had this is another one. They had their hands bit with the whole F5 library. Or livery library, how do you say it? I don't know, I always get it wrong. And that was a burnt finger moment. But even if they do cool stuff like that, I mean, here's one thing that World of Warships used to do. I actually won one of them. Here's a thing. Here's a little bit of a tidbit of trivia about me, some lore. Show off. So I actually won a World of Warships contest, and what it was for the ship called the Bliskowica, which is a Polish destroyer, and they did a contest for it. And what it was is it was a camo contest, and what it was is that what they actually did was they didn't actually necessarily tell people to open up a model viewer and skin stuff. They created like a template. It was like like almost like an orthographic drawing, or whatever you want to call it, where it's got side, front, and then people could just literally, kids could come in with with a crayon, or you could go and open it in Photoshop and you create it. And what then happened was they had a very talented, one of the things about wargaming is they've got insane art department, absolutely insane. So whoever won it, the art department would go away and actually create it in game. And that's what they did. So if you get this, it's the 303 Squadron. So what I said was, World War II, it would be cool if you had a Bliskowica, the ship, because they have all these different camos, and you make it look like a Spitfire, like the 303 Squadron, and it's in the game now. And I'm sitting there going, but no, it's what I did.
That's
so
very
it's
cool.
in there. You can actually look it up, and I created that. And what was cool was you didn't. It was a very low when I say very low, but it was a low
Low bar to entry.
low bar to entry because anyone can open up Photoshop or Canva or everything, and you can open this template up, create it, and then are you telling me that like ED don't have some really talented like 3D artists or texture guys or whatever?
They definitely do.
Yeah, and then you don't get that problem of like, because there's the whole stuff about is it encrypted files. So someone wins the library, comes up with this little cool thing, and then they go away and they create it, and then there's that solves an issue.
Rather than us delivering the kind of final livery, it turns us all into concept artists, effectively.
Yeah. It's exactly that. And then what's cool about that is that when they did that, they had like a voting system, so they would bring it out and people could vote on it and choose their favorites. And then I think it got to like a finalist, and then you had another round of votes. And so it was a really cool way to kind of engage the community. And what was interesting is, I don't know why World Warships don't do it anymore, but they just never really did it again, which is a bit of a shame, because I was like, that's really cool. And again, it gives people who aren't necessarily massively, they don't know. I don't know how to open up the model viewer and skin stuff. I've seen people do it, some really, really talented people, but it gives people who are not necessarily know that level ability to be creative and come up with some cool content. So there's ways you can engage with the community and do some cool stuff, and you can learn from where other people have done things. And you can also, in a good way, learn when they've gone wrong. You can go, I'm not gonna do that again. So
Totes. Yeah, sounds pretty cool. Alrighty.
Talk again. It's livery, not livery, John. Or is it livery, not livery? Yeah.
Oh, the Analog Kid, Deepak. Thanks for all the tutorials. You're welcome. That's why I'm here. I really enjoy making tutorials because I know that so many of us are visual learners, and so I read the manuals so that you don't have to, and try and make it into something concise and understandable. I probably fail on the concise part, but anyway.
You do a great job, mate. Honestly, that's how I got to know you. Was I got back into the Harrier, and I got to know you through your Harrier tutorials. So if you hadn't done those, sadly, you wouldn't have to deal with me. So,
well,
mate,
we all make
sorry
mistakes.
about that. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's what got it.
That's a true story. That's a true story. John reached out to me on Discord, and then we started doing some flights together in the Harrier and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And now
we're doing Tarkov as well, weren't we?
That's right.
That was the other thing we got into as well. A bit of Tarkov.
Everyone loves a bit of Tarkov.
So, absolutely. Not to give you more work, but you should definitely start resurrecting the 50 likes mini things as well.
I know. Actually, I am totally intending to do that. And I have a backlog of short form videos that I can do. So that will absolutely happen soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the news that we have for this week. But I'm going to dive into something that I've been neglecting recently. I've not been pimping the VAF for a while. And so I shall now do it, and I can even do it in such a way that John doesn't disappear now, which is amazing. Look at this. There's the video. John is still here. Let me make sure I've actually muted this because it is copyright. So yes, the VAF, or the Virtual Air Force, is a virtual online squadron originally started by myself and Dot Chuckles many moons ago. We fly on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, normally around about 8 p.m. UK time. We're based in EU time zones, and we currently have squadrons flying the Harrier, the F-16, and the F-18. We're always looking for more pilots, although you're welcome to join us, whether you fly or not. You'll see there's a Discord link in the show notes below, and we're always looking for air traffic controllers, scripters, mission makers, livery makers, and people who just want to hang out and chat about aviation, because we do have a Discord channel full of aviation buffs. So yeah, the VAF, Virtual Air Force. Check out that link below. You can now see how John reacts to me saying weird stuff while I'm pimping the VAF, which was never possible before. how blessed we all are.
I know, right? Yeah. We always joke about these sorts of things. I always laugh. It's just the way that you emphasize certain words. It just tickles me sometimes. I don't know why. It just does.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Good old Dot Chuckles. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to get Dot back on again at some point.
Yeah, well, he was on for the Christmas show, so I think he's a very busy boy, but I think he may well be open to joining us on occasion, especially if there's something exciting or special happening.
We definitely have to bring him back for when we get the Typhoon. And the Tonka. If we get the Tonka and or the Typhoon, we'll have to bring Dot Chuckles on.
Definitely,
because that would be perfect for him. Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So yes, you've been John Bluer, and if you want to check out John's channel, he's on twitch.tv/John Bluer. press the correct button to show your appreciation of him. And speaking of pressing correct buttons, John, I'm ready to press a button that you've told me to press, and I will do it when you tell me to.
Absolutely.
So tell us what you've been up to.
I can finally talk about what I've been doing, because I've been talking in cryptic words up until now, and I feel like I'm speaking in a Mordor tongue or something. Let's talk about it. So basically, I have been doing merchandise design for Nuclear Option. Nuclear Option is this fantastic game. Here you go. It's some stuff that I've just recently completed. Nuclear Option it's a bit of a lighter sim than DCS, but it's really cool. So if you haven't heard of it before, it's sort of a near future game. It's got I tell you what, the helicopter flight model in it is one of the best I've played outside of DCS. I haven't seen it, because DCS is like the gold standard when it comes to flight models.
The helicopter flight model for DCS is just ridiculous. It's just very good.
It is ridiculous. This is the best I've seen outside of it. And they've got this really cool, they've got electronic warfare, talking of which, this aircraft on the left here, this is the Medusa. This thing here has, it's basically, think of a Prowler or a Growler mixed with an AWACS, and it's got a particle laser in the nose, which can be used. It doesn't do much damage to jets, but you can use it to basically fry missiles.
Yes.
And so that thing just jams stuff. And you've got things like notching in it in the game. You've got things like countermeasures. And the whole point is that you've got a battlefield that you can do PvP or PvE, that you're trying to dominate. And it's really cool. I've been really impressed by it. What happened was a mutual friend of ours contacted me saying that they were looking for potentially some merch. I contacted them, and they went, at least one or two of them were like, "Oh, you're the Kiowa guy. You're the Polyshop Kiowa guy."
That's him.
And they were like, "Welcome in. Let's have a chat." So that's what happened, basically. And so these are the first two designs that I've done. The top one there and the one on the left is the Medusa. The bottom one is like a transport aircraft. Think of like an Osprey meets a Herc. That thing's really cool because it's got a 76mm gun in the side. So basically, you can either treat it as a transport, or you can treat it like an AC-130.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a really cool game. And I've been thoroughly impressed by it. So I did a bunch of stuff for them.
I approve this message because I've also played it and I rather enjoyed it. And in fact, we've played it a little bit together as well.
Yeah. And what I'll probably be doing with my streaming is I'll be playing a bit of it because it's pretty cool. And I'll also, the next thing is, so I've done these two designs. This just got released to the community. Had really good reviews and people were really happy, so I'm happy. That's really cool. It's always scary when you put these things out because you just never know. And they went out on like stickers and merch, and we've got t-shirts and posters. That's what you're seeing in there. It's a lot of work. And then what I'm going to be doing next is the community's voting on the next two aircraft I'm going to do. So the next one it looks like I'm doing is basically, it looks like a Black Widow, the F-23. Literally looks like their version of that, which is cool. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream me producing the artwork. So I have a graphics tablet. I draw with a digital pen, whatever you want to call it. And you guys will get to see from start to finish my process on how I create these. And I stream this, and it's pretty chill. I have some sort of chill music in the background. And I say to people, pop in and pop out, do whatever you want to do. So this is what I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks, months, whatever, is I'm going to be streaming me producing the artwork for this. You'll see how I go from start to finish. And then I'll be doing a bit of Nuclear Option. And of course, because this is DCS news, I'll be getting back onto the old DCS, saddle.
Yes.
So I'll be doing a bit of that as well. So yeah, that's going to be my new. So yeah, I'm able to talk about Nuclear Option. That's really cool. And I'm going to be getting back into streaming again. It's just I've been so busy. So one of the things on the side is I've just started doing freelance work as a designer. I've decided to go into business for myself. And as you guys probably all know, there's a whole load of process you have to get in touch with HMRC, you have to register certain things, you have to get your bank stuff sorted. It's all a process. And then it's scary as well. I had clients and it was really cool and I've been head down with that, but it's a big scary process and you're always looking for new work. Wink, wink, if anyone ever needs some work. And so, yeah, basically this is what I'm doing. So, yeah, this has been a really cool process. And if you guys haven't checked Nuclear Option, I'm not biased here. I'm not just saying this because I've done some work for them. I went in pretty blind with this project. I'd seen Nuclear Option, hadn't played all that much of it, and then was pleasantly surprised. And I think a lot of DCS players would be, especially if you like there's the PvP for it really reminds me of stuff like Contention and Enigma Cold War. It's kind of like that, but like obviously not Cold War as in it's old jets, but it's that vibe of you've got various places you're trying to attack on the ground, and then you're fighting each other and you're trying to kind of outmaneuver each other and take various points and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool.
It is.
So that's what I've been up
I like
to.
it. And you're talking about getting back to your streaming. Angelo here saying, John, I'd love to fly in a helo with you and blast music from a band with an unreadable logo on the intercom throughout the duration of the flight.
That sounds about right. Yep, that sounds great. That sounds like a day of fun to me. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So I've been Deepak. And please consider, if you haven't already, subscribe, liking, commenting. I've had so much support recently. It's kind of amazing. The subscriber number is just climbing and climbing. So thank you ever so much, everybody who has subscribed. It's a big help. If you want to further support the channel, you have the option of joining Deepak's ground crew. And it's a small monthly fee, about the cost of a cup of coffee per month. And it really helps me in creating this content. Big shout out to those of you who are already members of the ground crew. Thank you very much, Channel Right, J.R. Walker, Mr. Yeti, Sean IM81, John Bluer, Tea Kettle Barbecue, Whiskey Dale, Stuart McLean, Mangash, Willow Wilson, Byron Farrow, Osprey, Snooblaren, Interesting Story, Frantic Stone, Buzzing Hornet, Laskin75, Daniel Cohen, Giles Peralt, Alex, Arda Ozcan, Beta Tooth, Bjorn Alenus, Dan Green, Devil Dog 69, Paul Cope, Marty, Big Dave, Kaya Toronto, Colonel Billington, Melvin, something in Japanese, I apologize, Desmond Guy, Carrie Roberts, Brent, Clipperton. There's so many in here now. I've now lost where I was. Oh, wow, there are so many.
Clipperton was the last name you were looking
Warrior, Clive Parrott, Vinny, Wesley Gomez, Commander Stu, Irish Pat 64, Nate, Conrad Lawrence, Thorn, Jason O, Vitor Arbex, Mauricio Sipman, John Bradshaw, Solrak PR, Daniel Lauk, Social Lubricant, Jason Brown, Gecko, Viking Cat, Tomasz Vota, Runeform, Luca, Pink Floyd, Samantha, and Alice. Thank you all very, very much for your support. I got through it in the end. Yeah. Sorry. There's been a lot of people donating. Thank you very much, Tea Kettle Barbecue, for donating memberships, and a big shout out to Frantic as well for doing it in the past. I need a rolling list on the screen. Actually, I need to work on that. I could make some really cool stuff. Thank you very much, Byron. Thank you.
There's a way you can do that. There is a way you can do that, because I know for streaming, at least on Twitch, for like things like subs and stuff, there's a way you can. I think it will automate it, so it will actually look at your YouTube subs, and then you can create an automated like things.
Put something together. Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
So I've been Deepak. Every Saturday at about 6:30 p.m. UK time, I post a new tutorial video, currently doing a series all about the A10C2 tank killer from Eagle Dynamics, and that's always followed by the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching right now. Thank you all very much for watching. Fly safe, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.